can state your name and the company that you're with. I'll start first. My name is Pamela Crump. I am with the Office of Contracting and Procurement, and I am the buyer for this contract. And I'll turn it over to the city. Marcellus, you can go next.
Hello, my name is Marcellus Weaver. I am with the Housing and Revitalization Department with the City of Detroit, particularly with the CDBG DR team, where we're working with DWSD on this RFP. So great to have everyone here. And I'll kick it off to the DEWS team.
Hi, Barry Brown. I'm the Assistant Manager for Compliance Engineering here with DWST. Grayson.
Grayson Obi, engineer with DWST.
Lisa.
Good morning, Lisa Wallach, Field Services Director, DWSD.
And with us also, we have our consultant, OHM consultants. They'll be presenting. Liz or Patrick?
Yeah, Patrick Jones with OHM. Liz?
Hi, Liz Whitten with OHM.
That's the
I will
DWST team.
share. Do you want me to go ahead, Barry?
Not yet. Let them finish.
Yes. Anyone else? Are there any firms that are on? If so,
Sure,
if you can state your name.
Yeah, I can go first. Andy Wood with Applied Science.
John Mahalski with Applied Science.
Carrie Turner with Limnotech.
This is Sarah Kowski with Fishback.
I'm Stephen McConnell with Drummond Carpenter.
Okay, is that everyone? Okay, so during this meeting, you can ask questions. However, we want those questions submitted in writing because what we put in writing is our official response. Sorry. Okay, so the RFP was released on November 19th. The question due date is December 3rd, 2025 at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Because that's tomorrow, we'll probably extend the question due date until Friday the 5th, same time. And then proposals are due December 18th, 4 o'clock p.m. All submissions must be through Bonfire. We're not taking questions through email, just through Bonfire, and those questions will come to me, and we will provide a response once all questions are in. Probably, depending on the complexity of the questions, by Tuesday of next week, which will be the 9th. And the work will begin once it's approved by the Detroit City Council. So when we receive proposals in, we do an evaluation. If presentations are required or additional information is required, then we'll reach out to the proposer for those questions and responses. But once the evaluation is over, then we will submit the contract to the Detroit City Council for approval. So for this, the project information is OCP, the Office of Contracting and Procurement, is requesting proposals for preliminary engineering analysis of hydraulic impacts for the Detroit sewer system. And some of the services will include project management, information gathering, preliminary hydraulic modeling, estimating, outreach, etc. The contract will be for a 2-year term with a 1-year renewal option. So at this point, I'll turn it over to HRD or DWSD to give an overview of the project.
Barry, your team can go ahead.
Yeah, OHM. You want to bring up the presentation? Share your screen.
Yes, I can share. So the project is the Near East Side Joseph Campau Stormwater Study. And the topics we're going to go over today are the study area, looking at the land use, specifically the key runoff contributors within the sewer shed area. We're going to look at the CSO events and then go over the RFP. So this is the study area. It's the Joseph Campau sewer shed area. It discharges to the Detroit River. Brief history of the area. So the area that's currently served by the Joseph Campau sewer was previously served by the main interceptor McDougal, which ran north to south to the Detroit River. So this area serves Hamtramck, Poletown, McDougal, the GM Factory Zero, and then the area along I-94. So the McDougal sewer originally, it cut to the east along White Avenue and discharged to the Detroit River at Joseph Campau, which is the current CSO outfall B10. In the 1920s, this outfall along Joseph Campau was upsized to a triple box outfall. And then in 1922, they extended the sewer along Joseph Campau and constructed a storm drain and extended it north to Hamtramck. So following that, they then tied in as relief the different connections from east to west and west to east, specifically along Scott, Hendricks, Charlevoix, Canfield, Theodore. And so this ultimately resulted in the storm drain to become a combined sewer. So the original design, it routed the dry weather flow to the DRI when that was constructed. And then there was the wet weather flow was discharged through the triple box outfall that was constructed. So this is a map showing the original McDougal sewer. You can see McDougal's over here. It veered east along White and then discharged at Joseph Campau. That's B10. And then Joseph Campau in 1922 was extended north as a storm drain. So the land use within the area, it's predominantly served by the area north of Werner Highway. As you can see, this is an image from the SEMCOG map showing the vacancy rate. So it's highly vacant, especially in the residential area north of Werner Highway. Along I-94, it turns into more industrial, and it also is served by Hamtramck. So as we know, the land use that impacts the wet weather contributions. So looking at the wet weather contributions, we noted that a lot or more than half of the wet weather flow during a design storm event, which is the 10-year event, more than half is coming from the area along the I-94, GM Factory Zero, and then the areas to the north of that. This area, the Factory Zero, the GM Factory Zero is an industrial facility. It covers around 330 acres and it's predominantly impervious land. They have specific stormwater control measures that they implement, and this results in a normal and winter condition. So this really impacts how the hydraulics and the runoff during wet weather contributions, how they impact the Joseph Campau sewer shed and the CSO events. So looking at the CSO records in 2024, this outfall CSO B10 discharged over 800 million gallons, which you can see compared to all of the other outfalls on the Detroit River, it was much more substantial. So looking at specific events for this outfall, you can see these are two specific storm events that occurred in 2024, and more than half of the CSO volume that was reported came during these two winter events. So we looked at the actual storm events that the CSO, these large impact CSO events occurred, and they were not comparable to a design storm event. It was around 2.5 to 3.5 inches over 10 days. So it was not a significant amount of rainfall. So the project goals basically are driven by the permit. The current permit, which the number is provided here, it designates this outfall as a high priority non-core outfall. The permit is still being revised, but it's understood that this outfall is still going to be a priority outfall. And so the project is really trying to look at opportunities for low cost, high benefit controls for this CSO. So this could include converting combined sewers to storm sewers, creating stormwater only discharge zones, pulling the stormwater off of the combined sewer, managing stormwater, and looking into using that vacant land that we showed for GSI CSO management. So the RFP includes the following items. The first steps is going to be information gathering. There's a lot of data and records that need to be organized and retrieved, and then looking at the hydraulic model that the City of Detroit uses, conducting the preliminary modeling, and then figuring out where key locations are for field data collection. Following that, the project will include developing the concepts and some stakeholder coordination, and then the hydraulic modeling will be conducted with cost estimating, and the different alternatives will be screened to then find a preferred alternative. Following that, the consultant should look into different strategies for implementation and funding, and then finally prepare a report. So the key items to consider is, as I mentioned, the City of Detroit DDC owns a citywide model, and this is within the software InfoWorks ICM. So the consultant should have experience with this and be able to utilize this model to carry out the different alternative analysis. The consultant should also look into flow metering. So this is to calibrate the model and look at the key inflows, especially in those areas that I pointed out in the north, those key inflow contributors. This should be listed. All the assumptions for the flow metering should be listed, and costs should be included separately. There also should be CCTV or field investigation. So this you should include a budget for investigating existing conditions. And this is needed for the area upstream towards the north. Any questions?
If there are any questions, if you can raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised. See anything in the chat either.
I think that's it then. Patrick, Barry, Lisa, Grayson, anything you guys want to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so again, we'll take questions until Friday, and those are to be in writing through the bonfire platform. The RFP includes these attachments. So with the proposal, these attachments should be submitted as they're listed. Attachment A is the respondent questionnaire, which basically just gives information about the proposer, the experience, etc. Attachment B is what we call the technical proposal, which is the introduction and approach to doing the work. Attachment C is pricing, what the proposed pricing to do the work. Attachment D are the forms, affidavits, and documents that are required for the successful proposer. And then attachment E is the city's model professional services contract. So if there are any issues with the contract, exceptions, etc., those should be indicated in attachment E. Any questions on the attachments? Are there any questions about anything in the RFP at this time? Okay, well, thanks everyone for attending. I will issue the correction to the question due date, changing it from December 3rd to December 5th in the form of an addendum. The cover sheet of the RFP says the RFP number is 540837, but that was a typo. The number is actually 540857. Okay, Marcellus, anything on your side?
I have nothing. Thank you everybody though for attending. Again, I think Pamela, you said that you will be extending those questions to Friday.
Yes.
So other than that, again, thank you for attending, and please be sure to reach out by Friday if there's any questions.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.